This morning we are leaving Mandalay and taking the boat down the mighty Irrawaddy River to Bagan. Our journey will take most of the day in spite of the 7 AM start. The river flows roughly from north to south for some 1,300 miles before it reaches the Andaman Sea. It is the country's most important commercial waterway and is sometimes referred to as the road to Mandalay. The river has always been important, especially when the British colonised Burma. Today it is still vital for exporting goods, as it always was, even in the days when vast quantities of teak were moved from the forests down to Yangon and the outside world. Late morning and we drop some visitors off at a small settlement. Villages are few and far between, and the surrounding countryside is fairly featureless. Because we are travelling at the end of summer, the water level is low in places and our boat has to weave across the river to find the deeper channels. It is a long, slow, lazy afternoon and most of us take the opportunity to snooze and watch the world go by. After 10 hours or so we reach the jetty at Bagan and make our way cautiously off the boat. Next morning we are back in full sightseeing mode and begin our day at this workshop where they are all hard at work. Zaza explains the process of how the layers of bamboo are built up, coated and polished. Like everything else we have seen in Myanmar, it's all very labour intensive, with an extremely high level of skill involved. Bowls, pots and tea sets are all painstakingly made and intricate designs painted onto the lacquerware, using designs that go back many hundreds or even thousands of years. Our next stop is the start of our tour for the next couple of days to the Buddhist temples of Bagan. The vast plain is scattered with thousands of temples and stupas in various states of renovation and repair. This is the site of the first Burmese kingdom, dating back to the 11th and 13th centuries. Everywhere you look there are buildings as far as the eye can see. The site has huge religious significance, with pilgrims coming from far and wide. By way of contrast, on our way through to the first temple, Zaza takes us to a small village, which still leads the traditional rural life, as millions of Burmese still do. She's a regular visitor here, and we are made very welcome. Although poor, the village is beautifully kept, and as yet unspoilt by tourism. Plentiful water and good soil ensure ample food for everyone. The cheroots, of course, are made to measure. Zaza has bought a gift for the youngest member of the village, and we're invited to join the villagers for tea and snacks.
That one written. Okay. Lovely.
Next, we drove the short distance to the hugely impressive Shuizigon Temple. Before the tour of the main site, Zaza gives us a full briefing. Back outside, we are dazzled by the brilliance of the decoration and the scale of the building. Inside there are 4 huge bronze Buddhas, which are the oldest in Burma. It is not difficult to see why this is Bagan's main religious site and the most visited. Later we stopped by this stupa for a brief visit and some shopping before going on to the sand painting artists at the Kung San Gallery.
So first paint that blue.
Lots of blue.
And then we put the sand on the cotton.
Okay.
Then roll it.
Ta-da!
First,
Okay.
most it cotton and sand. After that, we keep to dry. Under the sunshine, 1 layer, or we wait 2 or 3 hours. There's already 5 layers. To this condition, you can squeeze like that's no problem. Sun cannot crack. Please touch.
Yeah. Extraordinary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
First, we draw scale line. And then,
Okay.
yeah, paint the color.
So you paint on
Paint
top
color.
of the sand.
Each color we use acrylic color. Acrylic. Maybe out the window.
After lunch and a short rest, we are out again at 4 p.m. and meeting with our transport for a trip around the pagodas, which will hopefully end with a stunning sunset over Bagan. This was much more leisurely and comfortable than our previous pony and trap rides. Our driver was a lovely young lad who was happy to talk and tell us about his wife and children. The sun was still quite hot when we left, but later it cooled down and we were able to lower the sunshades. After a while we stopped and were able to walk up to view the Irrawaddy River and the surrounding pagodas.
Goodness, guys.
.30 p.m. and we joined the masses waiting for the sunset. The place was heaving with more coaches and people than we had seen in the last few days. Unfortunately, the sunset was not particularly good, but we entered into the spirit of the thing, snapping away at the view. Nevertheless, it was still another great day. The first stop next morning was to buy stocks of the sweet tamarind flakes from this lovely old lady, and then on to retail therapy and eventually the payer. Ananda is one of the finest, largest and best preserved and most revered of all Bagan temples. The building is in a square pattern, and Zaza spent a long time and gave us a lot of detail as she escorted us around. There are 4 standing Buddhas here, and they face out from the centre of the square. Outside, restoration is still underway, and you can already see the beauty of the structure. We next made a brief stop at the Thatbayani U Pagoda, which is said to be the tallest in the area. Our penultimate temple for the day was the Gubi Ai Keugi, which boasts of richly coloured wall paintings, which we were not allowed to film to help preserve the fragile colours from the light. This, our last pair, was unique in that the huge Buddhas are housed in an enclosure that are far too small for them. You literally have to squeeze past each one as you go through the building. At least this little chap had plenty of room. We have now reached the end of the last day when we're all together as a group, so we end with yet another great banquet and lots of goodbyes and laughter. Next morning the main group returned to Yangon, and 6 of us will fly over to Nepali beach for a few days. After a short flight, Fiona, Leanne, Melanie, Bill, Sue and I arrive at our resort and get ready to chill for the next 3 days. It looks as if it's going to be really hard, but we will cope. A mile or so down the beach from our hotel is a large fishing village where the catch is landed each morning after being caught overnight. The catch is landed, weighed and sorted before being shipped out to market. Life in Myanmar here goes on, much as it has done for many generations. For our part, we enjoy a great farewell meal in a little island restaurant nearby. Tomorrow it's back to Yangon and home, and the end of a perfect holiday.